Welcome to the Team Podcast, brought to you by the parkdaily.com. Parkdaily.com, go, you can listen to all these podcasts, all the podcast goodness up on there. But in today's episode, we got Smythe and Mark talking NBA draft. Some winners, some losers, what certain teams are going to be doing in the off season going forward, all that kind of stuff. And on the second part, Smythe and I get into the AEW. The AEW is All Elite Wrestling, the new promotion that's coming up. And maybe they're going to start challenging WWE. We're going to see. We're going to talk about all that on the podcast. So yeah, tune in.
We love sports just like you.
What's going on, people? This is Smythe, the Team Podcast. I'm here with my man, Mark.
What's up?
And we're over here chilling. The NBA draft, it happened yesterday. I thought it was very exciting. What is your direct overview of what happened in that draft? Before I get into any specifics.
It was subpar at best. Like, it was subpar. Like, honestly, I just saw the first pick, and then that was it. And I kind of went about my day because I knew there's no point, because you know at some point, okay, this guy's gonna get drafted, and they're gonna say that this guy's gonna get traded, and this guy's gonna get traded. So it's like, I don't really care where the rookies go. It's where everyone else goes now.
Where the pieces go that fall afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, you familiar where the picks went?
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the teams that picked early, and I'm gonna go with the teams that picked in the top like 6-7 picks, probably down to 10, because those are the impact players. After that, you're gonna get lucky if you hit a guy that is anything more than a solid rotation player. You look at the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Knicks, the Hawks, the Wolves, and the Suns. Do any of those teams have a build that's anything to get them out of being in the lottery next year, do you think? Or do you think all of them are just, they're doing this and they're in the draft 2-3 more years before they get into doing anything real in the NBA?
The only team I would see that would have an opportunity to get out of the lottery, get out of a lottery pick, would probably be the Pelicans.
Pelicans?
Because they have more of a... Some of the core players have been there for a while, so they know the system, they know how to play. It's just getting the younger guys up to speed and to kind of work as a unit.
To get them going. All right. Let's start with them then. So the Pelicans make the Anthony Davis trade. They bring in Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, right? They draft Zion Williamson, and then they trade away that fourth pick. Mm-hmm. So they get rid of that pick and they move down. Are they building around Zion at this point, or are they building around Jrue Holiday? Because there's two different trains of thought, really, when you take a look at it.
Jrue Holiday's more likely to leave before Zion does.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to look at, again, restarting or continue to build, first thing you do is clear up cap space. So what you're going to do, you're going to get rid of Holiday first and tell him hit the bricks.
Hit the road.
So I don't know, it's weird. It's like just seeing how many guys that they picked up, and I was like, just a bunch of AAU guys on the same team now just getting paid millions to do it.
So the first thing I thought was that Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, for their 2 years in the league, they didn't get it done. They didn't get to the playoffs. And I understand, they're only 2 years in the league. They had LeBron that year is kind of messed up. You add Zion Williamson, you add Jrue Holiday to that nucleus. They also pick 8, 17, and 35 in this draft, okay? If you look at their future 2-3 years down the line, are you paying Lonzo Ball? Are you paying Brandon Ingram? Right? Hart, you can sign him for a cheap amount. But those two guys are going to hit a level to get big contracts before even Zion does. And you have Jrue Holiday's already making over $20 million a year. You can't afford this team. And this isn't a team of guys that you think you're going to get far with, if that makes sense. So do you think that they're going to move those guys out, not keep them? Like, what do you think the Pelicans are thinking right now in the next 2 to 3 years?
If anyone gets shipped out, well, the first person to ship out is Josh Hart. if Brandon Ingram and Ball decide to become a little bit better, a little more consistent,
Yeah.
obviously those guys are now trade pieces. I feel like for me, for some reason, just seeing Brandon Ingram's style of play,
Yeah.
it's like he's almost like Harrison Barnes, Marvin Williams. He's that guy that he has the height, but he doesn't have the size. So it's like I can put him at a 3, but I can't put him at a 4 all the time. But then that becomes an issue, right?
Yeah.
Because like the two guys I just stated, because of their size, depending on what team they go to, they either fall to a 3 or they fall to a 4. Or they become, that in between, depending on how the game is. So what happens? Those guys become trading pieces all the time.
Right.
So like, okay, we'll package up Brandon Ingram because he's a swingman. He's 6'9", 6'10".
You can move him.
Got a good wingspan. He's a little quick. If that team's looking for a quicker man,
Yeah.
they'll go with him. But if now they want someone to kind of bend down low and get boards, he's not in the mix. Or a third team's involved and say, okay, we'll take Ingram off your hands. Here's a draft pick in return.
Here's that. So that you think those guys are the movables in that piece.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, they also drop back to 8. They pick up Jackson Hayes, big-time shot blocker, to stand beside Zion Williamson. And now you got a team that's kind of hard to score on around the basket, right? You got Lonzo Ball's length, Drew Holiday's an all-star. We got to admit, right? He's a perennial player in this league. So you have all these pieces together for 2 or 3 years. You can be interesting. And like you said, if you can, move Ingram or whatever, and you can bring in an all-star, this team could compete right away. But is it something that you make all those moves and you sacrifice, be competitive right away, or do you let Zion build and maybe him and Ingram and Ball like bond together? You know what I mean? It's a wait and see game, I think. But I don't know if it's enough to get them out of the lottery.
At this point, you got to build. Like you can't keep on unless you plan to free up cap space and sign a better player that's been in the league for some years. You're gonna continue. You're gonna be like this Phoenix Suns, you're just constantly grabbing a 21-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 19-year-old, and it's like before you know it, again, your average age is like 23 at best, but you have no real experience. No one's been to the playoffs before. Then you keep on, and then what do? That revolving door for now. This coach gets fired.
New coach, new lottery, new superstar
Yeah.
comes in. I get it.
The Knicks have been doing it, and look what happened.
Oh my God, we'll get to them in a second. All right, on to the Memphis Grizzlies. They moved Mike Conley in as a massive contract, obviously, bringing in Ja Morant, who is the future. Ja Morant's got a lot of shooting around him. If they bring back JV, they got post game around him. You got youth around him. Can they get out of the lottery this year with that talent?
The funny thing about all these teams we're talking about,
Yeah.
is youth.
Yeah, they're the worst of the worst. You got to remember, they're drafting early for a reason.
Oh, but that's it. But the thing is that all these teams have way too much youth,
Right.
and that's gonna pose an issue when you're facing veteran teams. You're facing teams that are a little more durable than these guys. Because, like I said, these are guys that are coming in that aren't used to playing an NBA schedule. Or just probably now these guys are just now getting onto meal plans and learning the bumps and bruises of the NBA and what it really takes on them, right? Because you saw Lonzo in UCLA.
Yep.
He was balling every game. Came in the league, picked up an injury quick, picked up another injury, and I was like, he never really got going 100%.
Yep.
So it's like all these young guys coming in now.
Are you saying
durable.
Ja Morant's gonna get injured?
He won't get. I think he'll pick up an injury, but it's nothing
Serious.
crazy. Like he'll miss 2-3 weeks or whatever, or maybe a mild ankle sprain. But it's that durability. It's being able to play that consistent and that level every time, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's 6'3", $175. He's not the biggest player. They talked about like his size coming back to haunt him. But here's what I think. I think this team has a tremendous upside. Ja Morant averaged 20 and 10 in college playing with non-NBA talent players. So you give him, like, Jaren Jackson's okay. Jonas Valanciunas is okay. Kyle Korver, I don't think he's going to play a minute for this team. I don't think.
They said they were going to buy him out.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play a minute for the team. They're going to be young. But, I mean, you give him shot makers. Like, Chandler Parsons can knock out a few. You're giving him guys that are good basketball players. I think he has a chance to put up great numbers. Here's what I don't know. I don't know if that they can turn that into like a winning formula in the league, right? Kyle Anderson's there. CJ Miles will play. Like, you have bodies.
You have some veteran people. You have one or two veterans.
And a great point guard who I think he's the next coming of, I don't want to say Chris Paul because I hate Chris Paul, but I think he's that guy who he's around the top of the league of assists every single year. I think that's what they got in this draft. So I don't know.
They'll pull out a couple wins. They might show that they can at least scratch for NBA,
to get close
for an A spot.
But they're back in the lottery, you're saying, at the end of the day. The New York Knicks, is there any doubt this team will be in the lottery next year?
Oh, they'll be back in.
What do you think of RJ Barrett?
I find I can say he's like John Morant, but not as explosive.
Yeah.
He's a little more methodical with how he plays. But I guess like there's been guys that come in the league now that were methodical in college, but then they get aggressive. So it's like I feel maybe next week in the summer league, he might
see what he is.
Explosiveness.
Well, he averaged more than Zion Williamson playing with Zion Williamson. So explosive, you're right. He's a methodical scorer, but he put up a better volume than the next prodigy for the future of the league.
But remember, if he's playing point, obviously the ball's gonna be in his hands more, so he's gonna get those opportunities. He's gonna have those easy ISOs that he can get those buckets. Where someone like Zion, he's not gonna always have it. Right?
No,
like that. It was that whole hype about when him and Taco Fall matched up, but it was like, as explosive as you are, he's a lot taller than you.
Yep.
So you're not gonna get all your easy points, all those easy boards around, all those easy offensive rebounds and those quick putbacks or quick tap-ins.
Yep.
You're not getting those anymore. So it's like, so someone like Zion now, he's gonna have those. He's gonna face those issues when he comes to the league. He's gonna have the Giannis's chase him down and block him from behind and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. Like the Knicks are just that team that they just don't. They're almost like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like
they're almost like the Maple Leafs.
People will come. People will always go watch a game.
Yep.
To watch other players.
Yeah, they're not gonna come. Well, here's the thing: if they sign Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant with RJ Barrett, they're gonna be a great team. If they don't do that, they're back in the lottery. I think RJ Barrett's the most NBA-ready player in this draft from a perspective of scoring, ball handling, defending, size, shape, and he got that from his dad, right? But, I mean, like, going to the Knicks, you have zero plans to build a team around you unless they hit the lottery again, basically, and sign two massive free agents. I'm not sure that he'll have impact outside of him having the ball all the time and shooting the ball all the time. Mm-hmm. So he's going to learn to score at NBA level quick. Other than that, I don't know if he'll even benefit from this year in the league because the talent around him is so bad.
Oh no, he won't. Like that's like there's some good. Like even Trae Young, I don't feel he learned enough. Like he had a great season, ended off good and potential rookie of the year, but it's like you're in Atlanta.
Yeah, well,
I don't even know who's on that team. Quavo? Is it?
Quavo's running over there.
Because I seen him in a jersey more times than some other guys I've seen in the court. So,
well, let's look at the Atlanta Hawks next. The Atlanta Hawks, I think, had the best draft, mainly because they made some moves. They had the 8th and the 10th pick. They trade up to get the 4th pick. And they got who I think is the best player in that draft altogether. Now, if you look at the Hawks, like you said, you don't really know that roster. You're not very excited about that at all. They ended up with the Lakers pick, and they went and they drafted DeAndre Hunter. He's a national champion. He's got the NBA size. He's got 3-and-D wingspan. Do you think he helps that team get wins automatically? Mm-mm. You don't think he's good enough?
That team looks like a band of misfits. Like they look like a bunch of guys that were on other teams that just sat on the bench and didn't do anything, and you just
bring in.
You pull them together.
Can you admit that Trae Young is a great starting point for an NBA franchise?
Not a great starting point.
Why not?
He's a good part of the cast for an NBA franchise, but he's not that. That's like putting that same kind of. That's like saying if Seth Curry had an awesome breakout season next year and put the same numbers as Trae Young, he's the same height. He's just small guys like that can't do it. Like Allen Iverson did it. And that was like, you can say an anomaly. Like, I haven't seen another small guy of that stature do such amazing things and set and set notice to like small point guards. In the
So
NBA.
you're saying the problem is the longevity of him doing it, or
Yeah.
you think he can't get it done? Now, they have a 3-and-D wing, and they also have Cam Reddish. Do you know about Cam?
Yeah, well, they're saying Cam was more ready than RJ and Zion, which.
Thank you.
But the thing is that you can say they say that, but then
He's got to show it.
But when it came to March Madness, he wasn't as consistent.
He was hurt. He sat out a game. He was not as consistent as those guys. Doesn't have the ball, same touches, but he's got the NBA skill set today. He's got NBA size. He's got shoulder span. He's got a jump shot. He could play defense. You put him on this team. This team's young and hungry, and like you said, a band of misfits sounds about right. I think the Atlanta Hawks won the draft, and they're going to be set to do some good work in the future. Getting out of the lottery, though, I don't know, but they're in the East. If there's anything you can say positive about it, is they're in the East, and the East isn't getting much better.
Yeah, the East got worse. For
Yeah,
some reason.
the East is not going to get better.
It got a little rough, and I don't like I said with the possible departing of Kyrie. It's like.
I don't understand.
Like Boston can still get in there, but now another team can now
slide in.
Right? So it's like you don't know what's gonna happen, and then the whole Kyrie Kevin Durant, but it's like Kevin Durant's a washout. Doesn't make a difference who signs him. You know you're not seeing him next year. You know you're not seeing Klay Thompson either. So it's like you can't worry about if a team signs him and then takes Kyrie.
Yep.
You're only getting one star. You're only getting one star next year. So I don't know. Not that impressed right now.
Not that ready for them. Okay.
2K is not going to be the same next year.
The Minnesota Timberwolves end up with Jarrett Culver. Is Jarrett Culver Andrew Wiggins that they wanted? Is he like the version of Andrew Wiggins?
Oh, right now, seeing
Like, is he the real?
But that's the thing is, what you saw in Jarrett is the same thing you saw in Wiggins, and that's why you hired. That's why you picked him up. So it's like. When he gets to the league, will he get that opportunity?
Yes, he will.
You get the league, but then who now suffers from that? Who rides?
Andrew Wiggins.
But the thing is that you have that money, all that money you put into him, you can't let him. You can't suffer that much because now you're paying him all that money to split minutes with a rookie.
Yeah,
and then you can't dump that contract because he's not producing enough.
You're not going to sit him. You're going to play him as well.
Oh, of course.
But I'm saying I think. If Cam Reddish is the most NBA ready player because of skill set, Jarrett Culver is NBA ready. Not so much skill set, just the physicality of the NBA game. This guy is pro contact. He's pro getting to the basket. He's pro working hard. He's everything Andrew Wiggins wasn't that we thought he would be when they took him number one. I think it's a good solution. The last team, the Phoenix Suns, the losers of the NBA draft, if you will. If you will.
They've been losers for a while.
They move the number 6 pick to Minnesota, and they get Dario Saric and the 11th pick. The 11th pick ends up being Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson's a 5-year senior, so he's going into the league at 23 years old. Here's my switch, though. Cameron Johnson is the best shooter in the draft. Bar none, hands down, 100%. Mainly because he's had 5 years to work on it. Don't get me wrong. But a young Phoenix Suns team that already has a superstar in Devin Booker, you have the number 1 pick last year in DeAndre Ayton who's playing well. What do you need? You need a knockdown shooter who can defend. They went and got that guy. And because you know you're paying Ayton max and you're going to pay Booker max, you can't afford to have a third max guy. This is a great guy you're going to get and keep on this roster at $10-12 million. Why was this a bad move, you think?
I don't think it's a bad move because if he ends up turning out to be who you want, I don't need those points then from Booker. I'll take them from him so you can move Booker.
You can't move Booker.
You could.
Can't move Booker.
Anyone's movable.
He's a lifetime Son.
Anyone is movable.
He's a max player.
You've seen the last couple of seasons. Anyone's movable.
Guys move.
So it's like, but the thing is, again, if Booker wants that money, but you see he's coming up now. But like, all I need is a decent point guard. We get a decent point guard. You let him walk. We save that cap space, and our 2 younger players can still develop. We still hold on to a bit more money, and then you go back into the draft again
and get more. But what I'm saying though is that Devin Booker's a max player. Okay, DeAndre is Ayton is a number one pick, most likely going to be around a max player. He had a great first season in the NBA for a rookie. You just brought in a guy that you know is not going to be a max player because he's already 23 years old. He's lucky to go 11th. That's how he feels right now. You don't got to pay him that much. He's a great third piece if it works out. Don't get me wrong. And you have Dario Saric, who's no slouch of himself. You picked him up as well. I think Phoenix did a really good job in this draft. I don't know why everyone says they're going to lose it. I think 3 or 4 years down the line, we're going to talk about how good they did in this draft.
I don't know about that.
I know.
They picked up some guys, but it was like, they still produced nothing. The only time you hear about the Suns is when Devin Booker drops 70 points.
That's true. But maybe next year you hear about some more because I think they did a good job. That's what I'm kind of saying.
I heard two things from last year.
From Phoenix last year?
The only two things was the first one was the start of the season. Ayton signs with Puma.
Yep.
Devin Booker dropped 70 points.
That was it. That was the year, and they're back in the and you think they're back in the lottery next year? 100%.
Oh, of course, 100%.
There's no way they get it.
Top five.
I have 2 more interesting drafts. Throw a lot more picks. I get it. All of them weren't like exciting. Taco Fall, Boston Celtics.
I don't know. He's not ready yet.
Like he's 7'6".
He's not ready yet.
Do you think he'll ever get minutes in this league?
He will. But
Yeah?
he will, but he's gone to the wrong team.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect fit. Like,
No, because look, Boban Marjanovic is on the same height.
yeah.
But the thing is that where did he start?
Boston?
He started in Boban started in San Antonio. Right?
Yeah.
So he didn't get a lot of minutes, but the minutes that he did, he had one job and one job only.
Yep.
So he slowly progressed and he started getting more minutes.
Okay. And now in
like
Philly.
Boston, you put him in Boston, you're gonna either not play him for a string of games or you're gonna put him in garbage time. So it's gonna take longer for him to develop. Or if they're smart, they just say, you know what, give him that 2-way contract so you can play a couple games in the G League,
come back
up and get some
I
minutes.
think there's no G League for him. I think he's gonna come in the game. They're gonna give him the ball. He's gonna go and try to dunk it, and that's all he's gonna be good for. And he's gonna come in for small stints, and that's JaVale McGee. I think he's gonna be JaVale McGee stint type player, and that's all he's got on him. Sorry, I have 3. The Cavaliers draft Darius Garland. All the hype. Played 5 games in college, and he's going to play right next to Sexton, who they drafted last year. I don't understand what Cleveland's doing. I'm not sure if they've decided Sexton's not the guy already, but the way the size works, these two have to play together in a backcourt, which leaves them completely undersized. Garland looks like he was a decent scorer in college, but at the NBA level, we talk about this all the time. Unless you're blistering quick, if you're under 6'5" in this league, it's going to be hard for you to make a name for yourself. What do you think of Garland? Just say did you not see him play?
I've seen him play, but it's just it's an undersized. It's a very undersized team in general. Like they don't have any real guidance. Like they're like
got Kevin Love.
Yeah,
I'm messing with you.
I don't know why they're holding on to Kevin Love for it. It's like you're gonna surround him with a bunch of young players, and then you're not. It's not like you're getting the Kevin Love of old, where he's grabbing 30 and 20, and you put him around a bunch of young players because it's like you guys can't shoot. I'll get the garbage points then.
Do you think Sexton and Garland could be the new Portland? Do you see the possibility of them turning into?
You're talking crazy.
No way. It's not even close. Nothing that's gonna happen there. Okay, and I have one more for you. Ball goes to the Denver Nuggets. Steal or no steal?
I think it's a steal because because it's not like he didn't have. It's not like he had a bad college career. He was playing fine.
Yep.
Well, I think at one point I can't remember when, but they were like ranked 6th.
He was top 5. He was a top 5 lottery pick.
And it was just a foot injury that
put
him out. Where I'd be more worried if it was Sharif O'Neal that had gone out for heart surgery,
something like
and then
that.
came in that I was going into the draft, and I'm like, well, you haven't really shown much.
Yeah.
But you've seen Bobo, you've seen him in high school a little bit. You saw him in college. He's hitting some threes and stuff. So him going to the Nuggets, I think he'll get a little bit of burn.
Yep.
But the thing is that he doesn't have to worry about banging inside because you got Jokic there.
Yep.
So he can afford to spread out, and I think he'll do fine.
I think it's a great steal. I mean, here's my comparison too. Like Joel Embiid had problems when you first drafted him. You had to wait a bit, but look what you got now.
Of course.
And the Denver Nuggets can afford to wait, right? A, they got him in the second round, so let's start with that. But B, you're already a good basketball team, so if you gotta wait, halfway through the season for Bull to get in and he gets ready, and you gotta wait maybe a year for him, but he's gonna come out and play like that, 7-2, knocking down jumpers, going in the post for you, driving in the hoop. I mean, if he's a slower Kevin Durant on the Denver Nuggets, the West is wide open this year.
We can't throw on Kevin Durant.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm
We-
sorry for the comparison.
They've been throwing on that name too many times. Remember,
I just
you
got
remember
excited.
Toronto people remember Bruno Caboclo.
Yes.
They were like, Bruno's another
hey.
another KD.
What if Bruno and John Morant start tearing it up next year in the league?
Calm down there. We're talking reckless.
What if hypotheticals?
No, that's not hypothetical. That's just nonsense.
All right, hit us up on socials and let us know what you think of the NBA draft. I think I'm predicting 8 All-Stars were drafted in 2019, which would make this one of the best drafts ever. By the way, how many do you got, Mark?
I say. No, I want to say 2, but I'm thinking 4.
I want to say 2.
I'm thinking 2 will be, standalone, and 2 will be like, okay, they have
Once
the
in a while
potential.
they get there.
The other 2 will be, this is not their season. It'll
Yep.
be next season that they blow up.
Wow. We didn't talk about Kobe White. I don't like him. That's why I didn't bring him up. But let's be honest. The Bulls are back in the lottery next year.
Of course.
They're not getting better with this pick.
You know how many teams. I'm telling you, 2K is not going to be fun next year. Whoever's going to buy it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Because you're not getting KD at all.
Wow.
And don't modify your roster so you can get everyone in. Because you're cheating.
All right. And the Wizards drafted Rui Hachimura. I forget his name. They didn't even talk to this guy. They just picked him. And they're done.
I don't know what they're doing.
They're done.
That's a little weird.
So you said 2. Name the 2 All-Stars for sure that you for sure are in.
It's got to be Zion, obviously.
1.
And then I wouldn't be. I feel something in my gut's telling me that John Morant will just outshine
RJ
a bit, but just given the team setting, what he has around.
I'm not saying next year. I'm saying in general, how many players are All-Stars?
in like in their career.
In their careers, how many players are All-Stars? That's why I said
I'd probably
8.
say 2.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to be a special breed to continue to play good.
You're killing me right now with that.
Well, you're talking reckless. I don't know what you're talking about.
8. I think I got 8.
No, if you want to, if you're confident, we put something down on this.
Oh my god.
This is the podcast. We can always go back, and the fans can too. So the listeners can find out you're talking crazy.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go figure some stuff out here. We'll be back with Team Podcast. You can catch the Team Podcast anywhere you get your podcast. So that includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and anywhere else you get yours. Also, hit us up on our favorite social media sites, which include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my personal favorite, Tumblr. 1, go.
All right, welcome back to the Team Podcast. It's Nash, Smythe. AEW, Smythe. AEW.
I mean,
Now, they had their pay-per-view, a month ago?
It's
About a month ago?
and they're building into their second one.
That was Double or Nothing.
Yep.
And they had a pay-per-view a couple months back. I think it was called All In.
All In was,
but it wasn't officially under the
it was
AE
like, yeah.
branding.
No, it was like Cody Rhodes just did a pay-per-view basically.
So, in case you guys have been under a rock recently, AEW is All Elite Wrestling.
Yep.
The new promotion coming up. It's going to be airing on TNT.
Yep.
Khan, the owner of the Jaguars.
Yep. Ex-owner, or is he the son
No,
owner?
he's current owner. Owner of the
okay.
Jaguars. So this is backed up by serious money.
Yep.
Serious money. And did you catch the pay per view? Any of the pay per views so far? Double or Nothing? Did you watch that?
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of old school wrestling.
Yep.
Because the final match, both the Rose brothers,
Kill each other.
basically, it was a bloody match.
Yep.
And then at the end, they both hugged, respect each other, all that stuff.
It was actually gold. Do you want to hear the actual
Go, come on.
the actual end of it was Cody turned around and was like, "Hey, Dustin, I can't let you leave because I need a partner." for All Out.
Yeah.
So they hug and they embrace, and now they're going to tag up against, I think it's the Young Bucks. I'm not sure. But I'm like, it was one of those moments in wrestling. And what they try to do is create constant moments that get the fans like involved in the product.
They're bringing them, they're bringing it back to the wrestling, the pure, like, you can see there's a hole there that WWE just couldn't quite fill. Because I hear you and Wells always complaining about the WWE doesn't feel right now.
I tweet about it all the time.
Yeah, doesn't feel right now. They're underserving, and this is what I think AEW can fill.
Yeah.
Awesome pay-per-view. They had a bunch of promos on YouTube if you haven't checked it out. They're doing that right now. A bunch of things on pay-per-view. Now, this is going back, and a lot of people are comparing it to Monday Night Wars.
Yep.
It's not there yet.
No.
It's not even close to there yet.
And
AEW keeps saying they're not in competition with WWE.
No. And because they understand that they're not going to reach that level for a very long time. WWE now is starting to open a performance center in Saudi Arabia. They're going around the world looking for talent to bring on TV. AEW is trying to put together a great wrestling product. And because they think, like, if you listen to them, they don't think WWE is a great wrestling product. They think it's a multimedia machine.
Yes.
But they don't think the actual cores of wrestling are being covered by them, which is interesting because they're bringing on anyone who can compare the two, right? Todd Dillinger went over there. Sean Spears is his actual name. Ask him about WWE, right? John Moxley went over there, formerly Dean Ambrose. Ask him about WWE.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That Jericho interview. We'll get into that too. Now, the thing about AE, it looks good.
Oh yeah,
it looks good. Well production.
Presentation's beautiful.
Not like, and ECW, even, as much as I liked ECW back in, it was the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, as much as it looked cheap.
Yeah.
It looked, okay, it was cable access. It looked cheap and all that kind of stuff.
What do you want?
They probably didn't have the money back behind it. But this looks beautiful. Again, back to when WCW was at its height. Yeah. And it just looked nice. Presentation,
it looks
everything.
comparable like New Japan. It's a massive arena. You know, they have all the camera shots going around. Like, the action's focused in around the ring. Like, it's very, it looks very good. The set was beautiful, Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Shot in Vegas. I mean, they knew what they're doing, and they know how to put on a production, if that makes sense. I don't know what the people are behind the scenes, but we know Tony Khan has the money, obviously. Yeah. And between, like, Rhodes, between Chris Jericho, those guys know the shots and the angles and stuff. And I'm sure they know who to hire to make a good product. They got that going for them.
Now, this is the funny thing, though. This is what I've been thinking. I've been trying to put this through my head. I'm like, WWE likes this.
You think so?
They love this. And they're hoping
that it's successful.
It's successful. When was the best time in WWE?
That's right. Monday Night Wars.
Monday Night Wars. Before that, it was what was it? What was the one they were fighting with back in the 70s, 80s, and stuff like that? I can't remember. Anyway, there was another
Southern whatever.
Yeah, there was another production they were fighting with, and that's where that was when cable came into the picture and stuff like that, and then it came up. And WWE, again, if you go and you have the WWE Network, what do they always put up on a banner? Monday Night Wars. Yeah. Mainly, they're saying, "Hey, we beat WCW," and they're both basically patting on their back. Yeah. But that was like, as far as we're concerned, before like Hulk Hogan and stuff like that came in, that was arguably the best time in wrestling.
Yep.
When you had the two factions fighting, obviously the NWO stuff got tired, and they basically
that's how they lost.
Yeah, that's basically
how they lose the Monday Night Wars.
They didn't really have a long-term plan, and they start WCW. I'm talking about, and they didn't really develop their younger guys and stuff like that, and all the older guys took over. But that's what they put up as the golden age, or one of the best parts of wrestling, the Attitude Era, all that kind of stuff. And you can see WWE constantly trying to recreate that within their own
Raw
company.
versus SmackDown.
And what's that other smaller
NXT?
NXT. They're trying to separate NXT and have that a little thing.
But I mean,
they're failing, but they're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying.
Well, the thing I hate about it, because what was the last super hot angle they had?
I don't know.
When the NXT guys invaded Raw.
Yes, sorry, you're right. Yeah, yes.
When Nexus came, that was hot fire. Who are all these guys? We want to know who they all were. We want to see all of them. We want to see their finishing moves. We want to see who would overcome them.
Yes.
And then, John Cena jobbed everybody out, and all those careers got ruined. But, I mean, they have the talent pool to make a million incredible storylines happen. And they stick to what sells merchandise, because us as fans, we don't see the money they make behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's money in...
anyone can see it. Like, you can probably Google it and stuff like that, yeah.
But there's money in, like, Bailey with her hugger lame thing, like winning the championship.
Yeah.
There's money involved in that. There's money in Charlotte Flair winning 17 world championships, because they can sell that for 1 million t-shirts, right? Seth Rollins burned down. They can sell 1 million t-shirts that way. Brock Lesnar winning Money in the Bank makes sense because Brock Lesnar is the draw, even though he doesn't care about the product.
But do you like that?
Here's the thing about it.
Like, go on. Sorry.
I mean, I would love to say, oh my God, I hate it, but the company has to make money. What I think is changing is they got the Fox deal. And the Fox deal and the Saudi Arabia deal are more important than all the merchandise.
Well, apparently the NXT, there's going to be something with the NXT and the Fox deal. Apparently, I think NXT is going to go over to Fox or something like that.
They'll go to Fox as well.
And then WWE is going to do something else. But that's what I was reading and seeing something about. So, but I'm not sure yet.
SmackDown, Fox is taking SmackDown. So SmackDown's moving to Fox.
Okay.
That's the biggest deal they're going to have. And that's the end of this year, later this year. So all their top talent's going to go to SmackDown. That's for sure.
Are they separating the brand? Do you know?
The brands are always.
Or they're going to be crossing over.
What they're trying to do, they're having both brands cross over now, because Fox is like, oh no, I want the top guys.
Obviously.
I'm paying. I want all the top talent over here, right? Which now makes sense. So now they're saying that superstars from Raw can cross with a SmackDown cross with a Raw.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the top guys are just doing both.
But see what I'm saying? Like, they tried to have that separation, but yet they still can't. They can't do it
because they answer to shareholders.
Yeah.
Right. And what they want is what happens.
And what you said was great, because the NXT stuff, that was awesome. When they came in, that was awesome.
Amazing.
But the fact is, they're like, oh, okay, now we have these big guys on NXT.
Yep.
Let's bring the WWE. And now you can't really get into NXT now, because eventually, your favorite guy in NXT, eventually he's going to go to WWE.
And he's going to suck. That's most of the time.
And that's the thing. He might not get developed properly.
He might get he's dumped to the bottom of the card. You can't really do much at that point.
So, like, you're seeing guys not really getting developed properly. And we can get into the Jericho podcast when you had Dean Ambrose / John Moxley. Fascinating podcast. So basically what he was talking about was is still Vince McMahon's show.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon pretty much runs everything, and they pass all the storylines past him. And most of the wrestlers don't really have creative control of their own characters. They write stupid things for him. Like he was talking about, Dean Ambrose was talking that they had him going after, what's his friend's there?
Seth Rollins.
No, the big guy.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, who going through cancer.
Yeah.
But they're writing the cancer into the storylines. And they're friends. And they had him saying awful things about his cancer and stuff like that. And he didn't want to say it, but being the team player that he was, he's like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And if you listen to the podcast, he was saying, yes, he was just biding his time before he left. Even before he knew AEW was there, he was just biding the time before he left.
And so, contract right now. And what makes it incredible is that what we forget is Dean Ambrose has been at the top of the company. He's been
I think he's one of the best.
Yes. He's been a multi-time WWE champion. So forget, a lot of times what happens is the stories don't work out for characters. So a guy comes over, he's a great wrestler elsewhere, he shows up, and they have him playing the jobber role or losing all the time or being a bottom of the card. Dean Ambrose came up the WWE system and was the top champion of the company. And this guy was saying, I can't wait to get out of here. Yeah. They booked him beating everybody.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need to leave. Mm-hmm. But when the thing with him talking to Jericho is when he was breaking down the actual creative process, his frustration was the realest thing I've seen.
Oh, man.
In a very long time. Like, he was like, listen, like, and I was like, Vince, I don't know if this is a good idea. And he's like, yeah, this is great. You should do it. And he was like, it's so much stupid stuff. And he was saying these things that were like ridiculous. And you understand it. And like, he had so much better ideas for himself, and it didn't work. And he also talked about his match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 4. And he said he had so many ideas for Brock and things they could do. And Brock just wasn't interested. And for him, because if you watch him now, I watched him in New Japan. He just won their United States Championship there, you know, and he cuts an insane promo. We finished it, and he beats up some regular jobber guy, and that's cool. But after he cuts a promo with the jobber guy, the guy's all beat up. He has the guy holding his towel, and it's like, hey, me and you, man, like, you're gonna be a star, and I'm gonna carry you, whatever. So even though he beats a guy up and he crushed him, he's still getting this guy over, getting him valuable TV time.
Yeah.
Now they're going to do a tag team match together, and he's helping that guy's career. That's what he thinks wrestling should be about. I agree. Like, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to beat a guy, that's great, but you don't have to, like, ruin his...
Well, the way the WWE is, and you hear this all the time about Vince McMahon, he selects the guys that he wants to be superstars. Or he tries to make superstars.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think wrestling works that way, really.
You want it to be the fans pick.
It really... The fans pick.
Yeah.
The fans pick. I mean... You can kind of push a guy, but mostly the fans pick
who they want.
And to me, wrestling isn't that guy who gets a perfect promo written for him and all that kind of stuff like that. It's that guy who was, when he was, I don't know, 15, he was in his backyard trying to do flips and coming up with a character in his own head.
Yeah.
And how this character is going to work and how that guy's going to work.
Love that character.
And I can maybe see AEW doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly the creative stuff works. They probably have there's probably like a giant storyline because this is how WCW worked.
Yeah.
Those guys came up with the ideas and whatnot.
No. Kevin Nash and
those guys.
Those guys came with the ideas, and everyone else just fell in line.
A lot of other wrestlers were
had their own
in on how we're going to develop my character, how we're going to create my character.
They
and
had
stuff
a lot
like that.
of creative control. So the AEW route is because guys aren't fighting 4 or 5 times. Remember, they don't have the kind of shows WWE has.
No, they can't.
Right? So we saw Chris Jericho. He fights Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
It's going to be 2 months before he fights Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. So they have 2 months to build this fight. They don't have the television spot, so it's all social media.
I thought they're on TNT.
It's YouTube video. Not yet.
Not yet?
And
Okay.
TNT's end of the year. So they're building this fight that's going to happen social media. It's YouTube. It's interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? But the point is, like, even though...
They're very basement ground up. Like they're just building right now. They're just starting right now.
But Chris Jericho fights Kenny Omega. Chris Jericho beats Kenny Omega. Okay.
Yeah.
Then Moxley comes in, knocks Jericho out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Awesome. And now instead of Jericho standing up to him, Jericho gets beat up, even though he just won the match. So now that makes Kenny Omega look strong because he's fighting John Moxley.
Yeah.
So now the crowd's like, even though this guy lost, oh man, look, he's fighting this new guy, you know? And at the end now, because, you know, Kenny Omega's just in a fight, Moxley beats him up. Well, now we want to see Moxley and Kenny Omega fight. You know what I mean? That's how wrestling should work.
Yeah.
Everyone looks good.
Yeah.
You don't have to win every match.
No.
Right? But WWE has guys that lose over.
Well, WWE has a huge roster. Maybe that's
true,
another
too.
problem.
Everyone can't win
That's
all
why I
the
keep
time.
saying I think WWE wants us to succeed because, hey, maybe take some of our guys because we have too many.
We got to shave this down a little bit.
Because we have too many guys, and maybe and there's some just. I don't know. I'm hoping they're going to be kind of an innovator of wrestling and whatnot, because I've always thought we see a lot of these guys too much. I always thought that WWE. I'm getting really.
There's just so many, and they all start with anyway.
Should have a season,
Yeah.
or at least have a steady rotation. Maybe John Cena, again, he's not there that much anyway. Maybe John Cena only wrestles for 5 months.
Yeah.
And then he gets that off the rest of the year. And then you bring in somebody else for the remaining of the year.
Yeah.
Like, have a rotation of guys, have a time off for these guys, 5 months on, 5 months.
But it used to be like that because remember when, for instance, Undertaker disappeared for like 6 months.
Those are the bigger guys,
Yeah,
though.
comes
But
back
I'm saying
as
maybe some of the
regular guys.
Regular guys getting
But I mean,
time off and stuff
the
like
big
that.
guys are like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, those guys.
Yeah.
Give them time. Let them lose the belt and go away for a little while.
6 months on, 6 months off.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
So then you have a run, and the run's memorable. Then you disappear, create a new character, come back. You know,
Or it even helps the wrestling because it's like I'm guessing this is so tiring for these guys.
First of all, they wrestle so many shows that these guys literally fight 4 or 5 times a week, which breaks down anyone's body. Yeah. But also, I don't need to see Kofi Kingston winning a match every single week. He's the champion.
Yes.
What if he fights once a pay-per-view or whatever? You don't need him on TV. He just do something else on TV.
Or he can be on TV. He doesn't have to fight.
He doesn't have to fight every time. Like, you know, he's the champion. I get it. I don't need to see him win 100 matches to know he's the champion. Just like let him, you know, I need to see other guys on TV because there's a lot of guys don't even get that we might be interested in seeing, you know?
Now, I've always said success. We've talked about this many times. Like success, especially success for companies. Yep. That's how you get fat and lazy and stuff like that.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong. I think WWE had a great year.
Yeah.
Some things, maybe it tailed off a little bit. Like as far as the women's division, is that a success? Do you think?
So the one thing WWE, they have the best women's division in wrestling.
Is it successful though?
Absolutely. Nothing comes close. Now, making them the main event of WrestleMania.
That's what I mean.
Is that the best idea?
Well, it also hurt that they came on at midnight. Like the last match
it's so late.
was that at midnight.
It's so late.
Who wants a 5-hour pay-per-view?
And like,
For that matter, who wants a 3-hour Raw?
Exactly. But and to their respect, for women, they are fantastic.
No doubt.
They are not the backflips and stage dives. They don't do it the same level as the guys do.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't base your company on that. You can do it for a bit, but I don't think WrestleMania is the platform. And maybe you did it once and that's great. Mm-hmm. But if you want to showcase the best wrestling you have, or
maybe it's not there yet. That's why I was asking the question: Are they successful? Or are they there yet?
Well, Charlotte Flair is there.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll say it. I can say straight up: if Charlotte Flair main events anything, her athleticism, everything, she's top of the line.
Yeah, for sure.
But she, for sure, was the shining star of that. Becky Lynch isn't there, just talent-wise. And Ronda Rousey's totally new to wrestling. She only did it for a year. So,
she's not even there. She's not even really there anymore.
She's not there anymore. Well, she did her year, and she's got, whatever. And she's a celebrity. It's fine. I thought that was a mistake, right?
With the Ronda Rousey?
Yeah. Just that main eventing, that being the last match. Third, whatever,
yeah,
right?
Okay.
People have been hot for it. If it came on around like 9, 10, like prime time, fantastic. But for it to close...
Well, again, the mistake I was thinking is like, it was on at midnight.
Yeah, well, no, but like, who's staying up till midnight to watch it?
I know.
Pure wrestling enthusiasts, right? The wrestling fans stay up to watch that. And they're going to be like, oh, I don't know.
5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, but it's WrestleMania. It's Super Bowl. It's supposed to be longer. But I think their time should have been like Ronda Rousey, 9 p.m. Everyone's awake to watch.
Well, they're supposed to be the
She's
main
a big
event.
superstar.
That's
maybe
if you shortened it.
You can't shorten WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can.
No, you
they
can't.
can.
Like, if you pay all that money to
how many matches were in there? Do you think? Okay, this doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah, well, I think it was 19 matches. By the end
telling
of the whole thing.
That's 19 matches.
Yeah.
How many of those matches needed to be in that? Not a lot.
No, but you know what? Yes, but if you're a wrestler, don't you want to be at WrestleMania?
Of course you do.
Squeeze as many guys.
But you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. And these are the mistakes. These are some of the mistakes I'm saying that WWE is making.
Yeah. No.
And this is where AEW comes in, and maybe I really hope they're successful. Like I am so excited. I really hope they're successful to bring this back.
For what they are, they'll be successful. Mm-hmm. Can they compete with WWE in the long run? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
And the main reason I have is the amount of household names in WWE that aren't in AEW. They need a lot more John Moxleys to cross over for AEW for them to get the household recognition, because Chris Jericho's 50.
Oh yeah. He's not. Right? He's not there for a long term.
Yeah, I think he'll be their first champion. He'll hold the belt for like a year and he'll lose it to like, I don't know. But Kenny Omega, a superstar in Japan. No one knows him in North America.
How many guys do you think are in WWE right now, chomping on the bit to go there?
Almost half the roster, I think, wants out of that. There are guys that openly want out of their contracts.
So remember WCW when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went over?
Yeah.
I think they were both champions. Two of the better wrestlers in WWE at the time.
Took the money.
Remember when 1-2-3? Where do you think 1-2-3 Kid was slotted in WWE at the time? 40th?
Yeah,
50th?
But he was part of DX, so he was like mid-level.
No, that was after.
Yeah, good call.
So he might have been like 40, 50 on the roster.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, he was one of the first guys to cross over.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened to him when he became an X-Pac?
Yeah.
One of the biggest stars on the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what a lot of the WWE stars are thinking. Is like,
go over there and be
I need to get over here. I need to get out of there now.
Yeah.
And cross over now. Because if they're one of the first,
you have a chance to climb that roster.
They have a chance to climb up to be one of the biggest superstars. Now, I got a couple of names for you. Say where do you think it's good or not, whatever.
Going over or whatever.
Rey Mysterio.
No.
No?
No. And the only reason why is I think WWE will pay him so much money to stay. And the thing about, like, for instance...
But will it be good for him to go over there?
Oh, his career to go over there.
Yes, period.
He's pushing 52.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, would it be good for his career? Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Career internationally for his name. But, like...
But you're a wrestling fan. I'm asking you. Would you want to see that?
Oh, Rey Mysterio over there.
Rey Mysterio is one of the biggest names.
Yeah.
I got more names, so you don't have to... You can disagree. You can disagree.
I'm going to say no for Rey Mysterio.
Ronda Rousey.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. She
100%.
would be the whole
Now she probably went away to do her little family and stuff like that. But
little family.
can you imagine? Can you imagine if she came back in AEW?
Oh, insane.
She would be one of the biggest stars instantly.
Oh yeah.
Instantly. Daniel Bryan.
No.
I think they're underusing him in WWE.
But I think
I don't think they like him over there.
I think it's by choice. They're unusing WWE.
Yeah, I don't think they like him. I don't think because he's not big. He's not that big guy that Vince McMahon likes.
Yeah, but I don't.
But the crowd loves him.
I don't think his style is what AEW is going to be about. Because AEW is like about half-hour matches. They're all storytelling.
That's fine. The crowd loves him though.
Yeah,
the crowd loves him. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sasha Banks.
Yep, out, gone. AEW.
I know she wants to go.
Oh yeah,
100% she wants to go.
100% she wants to be there.
Rusev,
Yep. Yeah.
huge star over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's from
Robert Roode.
Ooh. Robert Roode. Glorious.
Complete. Where did that theme song go?
I don't.
I remember when that guy first came.
Yep.
You couldn't wait to hear that theme
Oh
song.
my god! I was like, "This is the most." But
now he's older now. I think he's in his mid-30s now. I think.
yeah, he's around. He's been wrestling for a very long time.
Yeah.
But the thing I hate about like for instance for him, he was in NXT and he had a gimmick that was gold. It was the same gimmick, I'm the shiny whatever, and I'm the champ, and like I'm too classy, and I'm.
But what happened when they went over to WWE?
They made him a good guy.
I know
because everyone liked him as a bad guy. But I'm like, it's okay for everyone to like you and you're bad. Just go over there, do your, I'll just a quick aside. Remember John Bradshaw Layfield?
Yes.
He was one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yes.
He was such a jerk.
I love the bad guys though.
Yeah.
I love the bad guys.
I love that guy. Like I don't. And they just left it. Like why? Like did they make him a good guy? No. Why mess with Bobby Roode?
Cedric Alexander.
Oh,
Very athletic.
yeah.
Very underused.
That's
very.
fair. But do you think he has star potential written on him? Like do you see him?
But this is what I'm talking about. When the 1-2 again, think about the 1-2-3 kid.
Yeah.
He was not a star in WWE.
No. As soon as he crossed over.
But as soon as he crossed over, big star,
was his
X-Pac.
name like 6 or something like that?
No, X-Pac.
He came back as like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he came back as 6 or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
or whatever. Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah. He'd be a staple over there.
He should be running over there right now.
Yep.
He should be like, yo, let me have my contract. I'm going over there right now. Eric Young, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is the one I like. I think he should go over there 100%.
Drew McIntyre. Here's the thing. Drew McIntyre would be great anywhere.
I know.
Like, he go anywhere.
What is he doing now anyway?
He's with Shane McMahon, but he's wrestling. He's in a main pay-per-view tonight.
Oh, okay.
On Stomping Grounds, he's got one of the big match cards there. He's a big-time player. The thing
Now AEW can't afford to get all these guys. They can't get everybody.
But
you want to be one of the first.
Yeah, but so AEW doesn't sign exclusive like John Moxley's not exclusive to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently wrestling New Japan. He's free to go wherever he wants because his AEW contract only has 6 dates.
Yeah.
So AEW, one of their main problems really is going to be you're not going to know who's the promotion or who's not. You're going to see guys wrestling all over the place
For now.
Yeah, when the weekly show happens,
now.
I would be interested to see how that works. Like, are those guys going to report in on a weekly basis? Is it going to be like, when we get these guys, when we get these other guys? Because it'll be totally different from WWE's
You know what's hilarious?
formula.
I don't remember the beginning of WCW.
What do you? Oh.
I only remember when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall went over there.
Yeah.
I don't remember the beginning of it though.
No, well, it was Sting, Goldberg, Diamond Dallas
No,
Page.
Goldberg wasn't there. Goldberg came after.
Well, he came
Much after.
No,
He
but-
came with that run with after NWO was formed.
Yeah, you're right.
Because remember, he was one of the only ones facing WWE.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page, I think he was there.
He was there before.
I just don't remember the beginning of it.
Ric Flair.
Was Ric Flair there?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do remember when NWO formed. That's when everyone was like...
That's when we cared what they...
That's when everyone cared.
It was like some Southern Wrestling Alliance before, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan came. And then they came off.
And then ECW was there at the same time?
ECW was there, yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden WWE bought them all out and something like that. But I'm excited for this, man.
Yeah.
I really... and we're not going to see it for maybe 3 years. That's the whole thing. Because Khan has money.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, oh, we ran out of money.
No.
Scrap this.
No. And he's
And you have to be in it for a long run.
and Khan is not putting his hands on anything. Khan's like,
He's the exact opposite of Vince McMahon.
exactly. I'll give you the money for this, and you guys figure out how this works. You guys know what you're doing.
Let me get some good wrestling people in there.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a good spot to get in there because XFL is starting up.
Yep.
So Vince McMahon is not going to be
100% focused.
100% focused. Maybe that's a good
But
thing.
if you turn the product to Triple H, it's going to get better.
You think?
Yeah. He knows.
Now he did create NXT.
Yep.
I'll give him credit for that, and that was probably one of the best things they've ever done.
And he's building superstar and he's bringing in guys, and he's putting together stories. You're gonna Velveteen Dream when he comes up to the main roster, it's gonna be a storm.
Yeah.
When you see Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era come to the main roster, it's gonna be I think he's getting ready to bring up a storm of guys.
Good and bad, because again, I like that, but I don't like that because obviously you're developing young guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like college basketball.
Yeah.
You can't really like a guy because you know he's going to come he's going to move away eventually.
But at least I think Triple H won't have those guys going to the main roster and just like fading away. He's gonna have spots,
that's true.
Right? And that's, I don't know. There's so much going on there in WWE that like something like AEW can sneak right in and be a competitor immediately. I kind of hope their weekly show started earlier. Like I hope it started like first in the summer.
Yeah.
Because then it would be a big scare for WWE. But
we'll see. Hopefully it's gonna be great. I say anything else you want to talk about the WWE?
No, it's awesome.
When's the next pay-per-view? Do you know?
End of this month.
All right, good. Not really sure. All right, guys, just tune in for that. Hopefully it's gonna be great, and maybe we'll get back to this when they get a bigger roster and maybe the weekly shows.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
do
it.
A review of all that when it happens.
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
All right, that's it.
All right.
Nash, Wells, and Smythe host the Team Podcast. We love sports just like you.